Why doesn't the power of love stop human suffering? If there's a loving force behind the universe, why doesn't it just step in and put an end to all the pain and suffering and injustice we see around us? That's a question that's turned many people away from religion. You've probably heard someone say something like, "I just can't believe in a good God who allows so much suffering." And honestly, even people with deep faith struggle with this. Why do innocent children suffer? Why do good people go through terrible things, whilst others seem to just get lucky? Of course, atheists often have a very straightforward answer. The universe is just random forces and DNA doing its own thing. Some people suffer, some people don't. There's no justice, there's no purpose, just blind, pitiless indifference. But what if there's another way to look at it? Theologian Emanuel Swedenborg suggests that love, real love, can't just dictate or control. If love truly exists at the heart of everything, it would not act like a tyrant directing our lives. Love wants us to experience genuine joy. But this can't just be handed over to us on a silver platter. Think about it. When we love someone, we want them to be happy. But happiness isn't about avoiding all hardship. It's about learning. It's about growing and making meaningful choices. If love were just about removing every obstacle, we'd end up like pampered children who never learn resilience, who never learn kindness, or never learn wisdom. A love of power wants control. It wants to make others do what it wants, even for their own good. But the power of love, on the other hand, doesn't force. It invites. Love guides. It inspires and supports. It does not manipulate. True love doesn't retaliate or dominate. It overcomes hate, not through force, but through compassion, through patience and forgiveness. You're still asking, aren't you, why doesn't God just fix everything? Wouldn't a loving God just remove pain and suffering? Now, Swedenborg argues that if God constantly intervened with miracles, we'd never learn to think, we'd never learn to choose or grow for ourselves. As I say, it's just like parenting. If you do your child's homework for them, they don't learn. If you micromanage their choices, they never develop independence. Good parents protect their kids, but they also let them figure things out for themselves, even if that means some grazed knees and some mistakes along the way. Similarly, love, true divine love, gives us freedom, inner freedom. It doesn't override our choices, even when we mess up. You can't make someone love you back. Bribing, guilt-tripping or manipulating might get the show of temporary affection, but that's not real love. The same goes for the love that's at the core of the universe. It doesn't impose itself on us. It lets us choose our own path. But of course, here's the tough part. Love comes with risk. If we're free to love, we're also free not to love. That means people can choose not to love over loving. They can choose to be selfish over being kind. They can choose to be greedy over being generous. they can choose to be cruel over being compassionate. Now, C.S. Lewis, of Narnia fame, put it this way: if God gave us free will, then suffering is an unfortunate but unavoidable possibility. It's not that God wants suffering, it's just a consequence of real freedom. Without this freedom, we'd be programmed robots, doing good by default. But that's not a creative love. That's a technician just creating an automaton. If we never face struggles, how would we grow? Many religious traditions believe that hardship can teach us. It obliges us to examine ourselves, to challenge our selfishness, and to seek deeper meaning. Swedenborg even suggests that difficulties, though painful, help us soften our hearts and become more open to goodness. He writes, "We are allowed to enter into some natural distress, to be held back from self-love and love of the world, into which we would otherwise plunge without restraint." So pain isn't pointless. It can shake us awake. It can help us grow and remind us of what really matters. So if suffering is part of the picture, how do we deal with it? Many turn to mindfulness, to prayer and acceptance. The well-known Serenity Prayer sums it up beautifully. Lord, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Instead of getting stuck in resentment, we can choose to trust that love is still at work, even in our hardest moments. And Swedenborg suggests that when we struggle, we might initially feel lost or hopeless, but that very experience can open us up to a higher love, a love that forgives, that restores and brings us into a deeper sense of belonging. If love is truly love, it has to give us freedom, even when that means we make mistakes. It doesn't eliminate suffering, but it does offer guidance, encouragement, and a way forward. At the end of the day, the power of love isn't about removing every hardship. It's about teaching us how to transform hardship into wisdom, into compassion, and a deeper connection with each other. And maybe, just maybe, that's the kind of love that changes everything.